In a world saturated with incessant noise, both literal and metaphorical, silence holds an incredible and often untapped power. The most truly influential individuals are rarely those who speak incessantly. Rather, they are often characterized by their thoughtful reserve, their deliberate choice of words, and their willingness to listen and observe before offering their perspectives. They understand that speaking unnecessarily often dilutes the impact of their words. They listen attentively and calculate their responses with precision, making each word they utter carry greater weight and significance. Furthermore, strategic silence in conversations and negotiations can subtly force others to second-guess themselves, to become uncertain about your thoughts and intentions, thereby shifting the power dynamics in your favor. The ultimate and enduring message woven throughout this discourse is that true and lasting strength resides not in the control of external circumstances, which is often an illusion, but in the unwavering mastery of your own internal state, your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions. Whether you are confronted with the sting of criticism, the relentless pressure of demanding situations, or the inherent unpredictability of life itself, the strongest individuals are distinguished by their remarkable ability to maintain composure, cultivate detachment from unproductive emotional responses, and engage with the world in a strategic and intentional manner. When you diligently and consistently master these crucial internal skills, you become, in the truest sense of the word, unstoppable, unshakable, and ultimately untouchable by the external forces that so easily perturb the less self-aware. Most people, conditioned by a culture that often equates constant communication with importance, are deeply uncomfortable with extended periods of silence and frequently feel an almost compulsive urge to fill any void with explanations, notifications, or unnecessary verbalizations. However, when you consciously choose to hold back, to resist this urge to fill the silence, you subtly force others to reveal more about themselves. The more they talk, often driven by their own discomfort with the quietude, the more they inadvertently expose their underlying thoughts, their hidden insecurities, and their true intentions, while you, in your deliberate reserve, remain an enigma, a source of quiet power. Consider, for instance, a high-stakes negotiation. If the person across from you presents an initial offer and expects an immediate response, instead of reacting hastily, you deliberately pause and allow the silence to stretch. The longer you maintain this thoughtful silence, the more unsettled they are likely to become, their minds racing with self-doubt, second-guessing their initial position, and eventually feeling compelled to fill the silence with more favorable terms, further compromises, or even a hint of desperation. This phenomenon occurs because silence inherently creates a sense of tension and uncertainty, and in that very tension lies a subtle but potent form of leverage. This powerful principle extends beyond formal negotiations and applies with equal effectiveness to everyday social interactions. The next time someone directs an insult or a deliberately provocative statement your way, consciously choose to respond with silence. Most people, when attempting to provoke, anticipate a predictable reaction: anger, defensiveness, or a retaliatory strike. When you deny them that anticipated emotional fuel, they are often left feeling disoriented and uncertain. They begin to question whether their words even had the intended effect, and in that moment of doubt, they often start feeling foolish or exposed. Your silence forces them to confront their own underlying emotions and motivations, rather than simply feeding off your reactive energy. Silence also serves as an invaluable tool for keen observation. When you consciously choose to speak less, you inherently create more mental space to notice the subtle nuances of your surroundings and the behavior of others. The slight hesitation in someone's voice that might betray a hidden agenda, the nervous shift in their posture that signals discomfort or deception, the subtle contradictions between their spoken words and their nonverbal cues. Most people habitually miss these crucial pieces of information because they are too preoccupied with formulating their own responses and filling every conversational gap. By diligently mastering the art of silence, you transform into a strategic observer, gathering valuable intelligence without revealing anything prematurely in return. There is a compelling reason why the world's most influential figures are often not the loudest voices in the room. They understand the strategic power of restraint and choose their words with precision and intention, consciously avoiding meaningless chatter and impulsive pronouncements. They recognize that speaking less does not equate to knowing less. On the contrary, it often signifies a deeper level of understanding and a greater capacity for thoughtful consideration. To actively cultivate power through silence, make a conscious practice of restraint in your interactions. The next time you find yourself in a conversation, deliberately pause for a moment before speaking. Use that brief interval to observe the dynamics of the room, to truly listen to what is being said and what is not being said, and to allow others the space to reveal their perspectives and intentions first. You will often find that the less you initially contribute verbally, the more intently people will lean in and pay attention. When you finally do choose to speak, your words carrying a weight and authority born from thoughtful consideration and deliberate restraint. Another profoundly effective way to harness the strategic power of silence is to consciously embrace it in moments of heightened emotion. When you feel the surge of anger rising within you, make a deliberate choice to remain silent. When you are subjected to an insult or a personal attack, resist the immediate urge to retaliate and instead choose silence. When someone demands an immediate response, practice the discipline of delaying your reaction. The ability to consciously control your speech in intensely emotional situations is a hallmark of ultimate self-mastery. Powerful individuals are not reactive. They do not allow the volatile currents of their emotions to dictate their words or actions. They understand that silence itself can be a potent and often more impactful response than any hastily spoken words. A well-timed pause can often convey more meaning and exert greater influence than a lengthy explanation. In a moment of profound quiet can fundamentally shift the entire dynamic of an interaction. In a world where seemingly everyone is clamoring to be heard, to assert their opinions, and to dominate the conversation, the individual who possesses the discipline and wisdom to speak the least often wields the most significant and enduring influence. Master the strategic use of silence, and you will, in turn, master a profound level of control over yourself and the dynamics of your interactions. To truly train an unshakable mind, a mind that remains impervious to the external turbulence of life, you must actively cultivate and consistently reinforce mental habits that promote inner calm, resilience, and unwavering focus. Every seed of doubt that takes root, every fleeting whisper of fear that attempts to undermine your confidence, and every moment of hesitation that stalls your progress must be consciously identified and decisively conquered. The strongest individuals are not those who never experience negative thoughts or unsettling emotions. Rather, they are those who possess the mental discipline to refuse to be controlled or defined by them. To forge genuine mental toughness, you must engage in a process of daily mental conditioning, consciously cultivating gratitude to actively counter negativity, diligently practicing self-discipline to consistently override the natural inclination towards laziness and procrastination, and intentionally developing detachment to effectively eliminate unnecessary suffering caused by clinging to outcomes or dwelling on external events. Just as the physical body grows stronger and more resilient through consistent resistance training, so too does the mind develop unwavering fortitude through the consistent application of these daily mental exercises. True mental strength is not developed through grand, sweeping gestures, but rather in the accumulation of small, seemingly insignificant choices made in the crucible of everyday moments. It is in the conscious decision to wake up early and embrace the demands of the day when every fiber of your being yearns for the false comfort of continued sleep. It is in the deliberate act of choosing thoughtful silence over impulsive argumentation when your emotions are running high. It is in the unwavering commitment to pushing forward, one small step at a time, when every instinct within you screams to surrender to the perceived ease of quitting. Like a muscle that grows stronger through consistent resistance, the mind becomes increasingly resilient through the deliberate confrontation of challenges, both internal and external. Every obstacle you overcome, every moment of discomfort you endure with conscious intention, is not merely a hurdle cleared, but an opportunity to further strengthen the sinews of your mental fortitude. One of the most profoundly powerful mental habits you can actively develop is the practice of detachment. Learning to consciously separate your core sense of self and your inner peace from the volatile fluctuations of your emotions, the uncertain nature of external outcomes, and the pervasive chaos that often characterizes the world around you. This cultivated control over your internal state grants you a significant and often decisive advantage over those who are constantly swept away by the tides of their emotions and who react impulsively to the ever-shifting sands of external circumstances. It is crucial to understand that detachment does not equate to indifference or a lack of empathy. Rather, it signifies the conscious and deliberate exercise of self-control, the ability to observe and process your experiences without being overwhelmed or defined by them. You cannot always control the events that unfold in the world around you, but you possess the absolute power to control your response to those events. Imagine a violent storm raging. Most individuals are caught in the turbulent winds, tossed around by the unpredictable forces of circumstance. But those who have cultivated unshakable minds stand firm, grounded in their inner strength, allowing the storm to pass around them without disturbing their internal equilibrium. Discipline stands as another crucial and indispensable element in the rigorous training of an unshakable mind. The mind, in its natural inclination, will invariably seek the path of least resistance, gravitating towards comfort, ease, and immediate gratification. This inherent tendency is precisely why the vast majority of individuals never achieve their full potential or cultivate true inner strength. They consistently give in to the allure of distractions, the seductive pull of procrastination, and the insidious whispers of self-doubt. However, the conscious and consistent practice of discipline has the remarkable power to rewire the neural pathways of the mind, forging new habits of resilience, focus, and perseverance. When you consistently choose the path of discipline over the tempting allure of comfort and immediate gratification, you actively reshape yourself into someone who is increasingly unstoppable in the pursuit of their goals. Begin with small, manageable commitments. Cultivate daily habits that consciously reinforce mental strength. Practice mindfulness meditation to sharpen your focus and enhance your self-awareness. Engage in regular physical exercise to build discipline, resilience, and a stronger mind-body connection. Dedicate time to reading and learning to expand your knowledge and broaden your perspective. Most importantly, consistently keep your word to yourself, no matter how small the promise may seem. Over time, these seemingly minor acts of self-discipline will compound, building into a powerful and unshakable mental fortress that can withstand the inevitable storms of life. The world will undoubtedly test your resolve, and life will relentlessly throw obstacles and challenges into your path. But the profound and transformative moment arrives when you truly master your own mind. At that pivotal point, nothing external will ever again possess the power to fundamentally shake your inner core. You will navigate the complexities of life with a quiet confidence, an unwavering sense of control, and a profound inner power that few ever achieve. And when others, observing your steadfast composure and unyielding resilience, inevitably ask how you remain so steady, so seemingly unbothered, and so consistently composed in the face of adversity, you will know the answer with absolute certainty. You trained for this. You diligently built this inner strength, and nothing in the external world can ever take it away from you. It does not clamor for attention. It does not seek external validation. It simply acts with intention and allows its results to speak for themselves. The loudest individuals in any setting are often, paradoxically, the weakest. They crave constant recognition, feel compelled to announce their intentions to the world, and desperately seek the fleeting validation of others. But the truly strong move quietly, strategically, and with a profound sense of inner certainty. If you genuinely desire to be respected, to command attention without demanding it, then make a conscious decision to stop announcing your plans prematurely. Cease the habit of feeling obligated to explain yourself or your intentions to everyone who inquires. Instead, relentlessly focus on doing the work, on taking consistent action towards your goals. True and lasting success is not built through empty words or boastful pronouncements. It is forged in the crucible of dedicated effort and tangible results. The more you talk about what you intend to do, the more you inadvertently invite scrutiny, doubt, and resistance from those around you. But when you operate with quiet determination, working diligently in silence, no one sees you coming. And by the time they finally notice your progress, it is often too late for them to effectively impede your momentum. The strongest individuals do not waste their precious energy attempting to prove themselves to others. They understand that their success will ultimately speak for itself. They do not engage in petty arguments, seek to impress those who are easily swayed by superficial displays, or feel the need to over-explain their motivations. They move through life with an unshakable certainty, and that inherent certainty, in and of itself, commands a far deeper and more genuine form of respect. The very moment you consciously and decisively stop seeking external validation for your thoughts, actions, and aspirations is the precise moment you begin your ascent towards becoming truly unstoppable. The most influential figures throughout history were rarely those who constantly talked about their next move or sought the approval of the masses before taking action. They possessed a deep and intuitive understanding that true power resides not in empty promises or persuasive rhetoric, but in the quiet and relentless execution of their vision. They did not feel compelled to explain their groundbreaking ideas to those who lacked the capacity to understand or the vision to appreciate their potential. Instead, they simply dedicated themselves to building, creating, and ultimately dominating their respective fields through focused effort and unwavering determination, often operating in relative silence until their achievements became undeniable. To master this powerful principle, cultivate the discipline to keep your ambitious plans and strategic intentions private, sharing them only with a select circle of trusted advisors. Work relentlessly and with unwavering focus on your objectives, but consciously resist the urge to seek applause or accolades along the way. Instead, let people wonder about your next move. Let your results generate their own buzz. The less others know about your strategies and your progress, the more control you ultimately retain over your own destiny. Silence, in this context, is not a passive state of inaction. Rather, it is a potent and often underestimated strategic tool. It forces those around you to fill in the gaps of information, to speculate about your intentions, and often to overthink their own positions. In that very uncertainty, you gain a subtle but significant form of power. When you do eventually choose to speak, your words carry a weight and authority that they might otherwise lack. People listen more intently, not because you are demanding their attention, but because they have come to understand that you do not waste your words on trivialities. In a world where seemingly everyone is desperate to be noticed and to have their voice heard, consciously choose to be the one who does not actively seek recognition. While others expend their energy chasing fleeting moments of attention and validation, you focus your efforts on the deeper and more enduring pursuit of mastery. While they prioritize appearing successful in the eyes of others, you dedicate yourself to the actual process of becoming successful, cultivating genuine competence and achieving tangible results. This fundamental difference distinguishes those who merely talk about doing great things from those who quietly and diligently go about the business of actually accomplishing them. Therefore, if you feel the almost irresistible urge to prematurely explain your plans or justify your actions, consciously resist that impulse. If you sense the need to prove your worth or your capabilities to those who may doubt you, deliberately hold back. If you are eager to showcase your progress to the world before your work is truly complete, let your tangible results speak for themselves, powerfully and unequivocally. The very moment you consciously cease the habit of feeding the insatiable appetite of external validation, you will often find that people begin to pay far greater attention to your actions and your outcomes. This quiet dedication, this unseen labor, creates a magnetic field around your endeavors, drawing genuine interest without a single boast. They will become genuinely curious about how you achieved your results, and they may even begin to question why nothing ever seems to visibly perturb your inner equilibrium. They will sense a depth and an unshakable confidence that was absent when your energy was scattered seeking approval. And it is in that very moment of quiet observation and burgeoning curiosity that you will know, with an unshakable certainty, that you have truly begun to master the game of life, operating from a position of inner strength and strategic self-possession. In your daily interactions, how comfortable are you with moments of silence? Do you feel an urge to immediately fill quiet spaces? And what might that urge stem from? Thinking about challenging conversations or moments of heightened emotion, can you identify a time where choosing silence over an immediate reaction could have changed the dynamic or outcome? If you enjoyed the content and would like to support this channel, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the section below. and I'll see you next time.